Excuse me, sir? I'm looking for a job. In fact, I've made up my mind to find a career that I can learn and grow into. Who am I? I'm a hard worker. I set high goals and I've been told that I'm persistent. Now, I'm not fooling myself, sir. Having been raised with the self-esteem movement so popular in schools, I used to expect my needs to be considered. But I know that today's work culture no longer caters to the job loyalty that could be promised to earlier generations. What I believe, sir, is that good things come to those who work their asses off. And that good people, such as yourself, who reached the top of the mountain, didn't just fall there. My motto is, if you want to win the lottery, you have to make the money to buy a ticket. You have to make the money to buy a ticket. You have to make the money to buy a ticket!
I think the Academy might be encouraging manorexia. And me too, because when I see Jake Gyllenhaal looking super thin in this trailer, my first thought is, oh hey, he's copying the strategy of Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale to quite successfully win an Oscar by dropping a ton of weight. Although, I'd be curious to know what Jake Gyllenhaal's excuse is for his character, besides wanting an Oscar, because Matthew McConaughey's character was dying of AIDS, and Christian Bale's was a drug addict. But then the reason I say I'm partially to blame is because despite all that, when I see super thin Jake Gyllenhaal, I go, awards contender. I am intrigued by this. And he certainly looks different, and he looks like he really wants it. He's like, he wants an Oscar. I guess that's maybe what partially it is. These actors want an Oscar bad enough to kind of go on a hunger strike for one. And so now Hollywood will judge if they waited long enough to eat. So how does the movie look itself? Well, the other thing that distracted me a little bit during this trailer, as I was like, where is that song from? I've heard that song. And it's You're So Cool from True Romance, a great movie. If you have not seen True Romance, it's one of Quentin Tarantino's very first scripts. You should totally check it out. It's a fantastic movie. And it's, really raising the bar high for itself for Nightcrawler here to borrow from that film in any way. But this does look intriguing to me. You can't tell from the trailer, but this is a movie about freelance crime journalism, and as someone who appreciates, true crime stories and novels, I really like I like books about like real things in life, like for instance, like reading about how the CIA was founded. That was fascinating to me. So I don't know very much about this industry, so I'm curious about that aspects of the film. But just as a trailer, it piqued my interest. I like the way it was cut together. They kind of lost me at the end when he went all crazy at the end of his speech. Then it seemed a little too much like on the nose in terms of Oscar bait. But up until then, I was really liking what I was seeing. So I'm curious to what you guys think. I've also reviewed the Imitation Game trailer today. Oscar contenders are starting to pop up like daisies as we approach the fall, and I think these both look like very solid contenders. But of course, Gyllenhaal's been a contender before with Brokeback Mountain, but I think ever since then he's trying to come back. Because I think to some degree you quite say that there was so much support for the film Brokeback Mountain that it carried over to the actors, and of course Heath Ledger I think got most of the attention for that movie, and then of course went on for his The Dark Knight Oscar win posthumously, quite tragically. But I think Jake Gyllenhaal wants to be like, no, I'm just a good actor in my own right. I don't need a movie, support for a movie to boost interest in my work. I'm good enough on my own. But anyway, I like it. But, Mark Wahlberg, you're going to see probably very soon a trailer for something called The Gambler, where he's lost a ton of weight. So I'm curious if you think this is dangerous and what we can do to stop it. And are we contributing to it by seeing these super thin actors and going, you want an Oscar, and I'm interested in seeing your bid. All right, thank you so much for tuning into my review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.